Good morning, friends, or afternoon, depending on when you have me. So today, you guys are going to be working with dependent and independent variables. And so it's going to look a little bit different than other math lessons that we've had because there are a lot less numbers in here. We're looking for dependent and independent variables. And I don't know if Mrs. Hewitt spent very much time talking to you about this in science, but we're for sure going to talk about it in math today, okay? So you should have glued in your paper 9.1 dependent and independent variables. And then also in your math journal, it should look similar to my math journal. Okay, so go ahead and take a second and write that in. Today we're going to be finding the dependent variable, independent variable, and then writing an equation for it. All right, so a dependent variable, we're just going to go off the definition. A dependent variable, it's the variable whose value is determined by the value of another quantity. The dependent variable depends on the independent variable. That's the way that I think of it. So the important word here is depends. So the dependent variable depends on the independent variable, okay? An independent variable, it's a variable whose value determines the value of another quantity. So an independent variable, it can stand all by itself and still hold a value, okay? So I have a couple of story problems here, and that's what we're going to be working with. And today, all day, this is what you're doing. You're going to be looking at a couple of story problem scenarios, and then finding the dependent, independent variable, and then the equation. So I have two of them here. There's number one and number two. And with number one, we also need to include that 1 minute is going to equal 20 calories. And that'll make sense once we read it. Okay, so it says that the total number of calories Jerry burns depends on the number of minutes she jogs. And 1 minute equals 20 calories. So you can see this word right here, depends. That's nice and helpful, and it's not really in my math journal very well, sorry. So the word depends. So we have to ask ourselves, like, what numbers are we working with here? What is our dependent variable? What's our independent variable? So the total number of calories, that's one thing we're talking about, is calories. So the number of calories that Jerry burns, it's going to depend on the number of minutes that she jogs. That's our other number right here is minutes. So you need to ask yourself which one depends on the other and which number can stand all by itself. So think about it for a minute. If Jerry ran for 1 minute, how many calories would Jerry burn? 20 minutes, or 20 calories, I apologize. 20 calories. If she ran for 2 minutes, how many calories would she burn? 40 calories. 3 minutes, how many calories? 60 calories. So the number of calories that she burns, it depends on how long she runs for. So I'm going to come over to my dependent and independent variable. So the dependent variable, it's the calories that she burns. C for calories. All right. It's how many calories she burns. It depends on how long she runs for, and we even have that word right there, depends. My independent variable, what number could stand all by itself? It's the minutes. So if she ran for 1 minute, she would burn 20 calories. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, every single 1 minute she runs for, it's always 20 calories. So this could stand all by itself. So M is for minutes. And so our equation here, like when I was asking you the question, what if she ran for 1 minute? What if she ran for 2 minutes? What if she ran for 3 minutes? So the minutes, that's what's going to be, that's going to be our independent variable, but our dependent variable, usually, oh, I apologize, I'll get to that in a second. So our dependent variable is the calories. So the number of calories she burns, it's going to depend on how many minutes she runs. And so it's going to be 20 and remember that it's 20 calories times however many minutes. So another thing to remember is with a dependent variable, usually it's going to be like the grand total, the total amount of money spent, the total amount of calories, it's going to be on one side of the equal sign. That's what we're going to spend the next few days working on, is dependent and independent variables. And the dependent variable, it's always going to be by itself on one side of the equal sign, okay? So let's go ahead and look at our second example. So our second example right here, it says that Lori is spending the afternoon bowling with her friends. Each game she plays costs $3.25. And there is a one-time shoe rental fee of $2.50. Okay, and so we need to find the dependent variable and the independent variable. So with this one, this is a little bit of a harder question because it doesn't have the word depend in it. So we have to say, we have to ask ourselves, like, what is the end result here? Like, what, so like with our first example, it was how many calories. What is she working with today? So she's spending the afternoon bowling. Each game costs $3.25, one-time shoe rental fee of $2.50. Well, so what she's working on today is money, okay? So she's working with money. And so I'm going to be looking for my independent, my dependent variable, my independent variable, and then my equation. Well, so I need to find something that can stand alone and something that depends on other variables. So one thing that can stand all alone is how much each game costs. So each game costs $3.25. So if she plays, oh, it's right here, each game. Each game is $3.25. So if she plays one game, it's $3.25. If she plays two games, it's going to be $6.50. If she plays three games, $9.75. So for every game that she plays, it's always going to be $3.25. So that's going to stay the same. So my independent variable, the variable that can stand all alone, is going to be G for games. And when you guys are working on your assignment, you get to pick the variable, and remember that a variable is just one letter. But in our math journal, I am writing down off to the side like what the variables stand for. Okay, and so then my dependent variable, what is like my end result here? What depends on how many games she plays? Well, it's going to be the total cost. And notice how it's not saying like how much does she play, but you guys have to be able to look at it and say, well, what are we working with here? Here we're working in money, and if we're working in money, generally, I can't promise it's always the case, but generally it's going to be the total cost. And so just a reminder that our dependent variable, usually it's like our end, it's the end result, like how many calories total, how much money total. It's usually the total. So for my dependent variable here, I'm going to put a T, and this is going to be total cost. Okay. And so now I have to come back up here and look at my equation again, okay? And I have multiple things in here. I have multiple numbers. I have $3.25, $2.50. I have my total cost, and then each game. So when you guys are making your equation, you want to make sure that you include both of your variables. So you can see I have a T and a G. So my total cost is going to equal how many games I play, and I also have to include the money, my numbers that I'm working with as well. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up, and I'm going to say that my total cost is equal to how many games I play. And how much is it again per game? I was waiting for you to answer. I hope you answered. It's going to be $3.25. So we're going to write this as 325G. Remember that when your coefficient is next to your variable, you multiply. So T equals $3.25 times G. Is that going to give me my full equation? Let's read through it one more time. Lori is spending the afternoon bowling with her friends. Each game she plays costs $3.25. And there is a one-time shoe rental fee of $2.50. And so this is going to be similar to the bike example. So if she bowls one game, how much did she pay for shoes? $2.50. If she bowled 3 games, how much did she pay for shoes? $2.50. If she bowled 413 games, how much is she paying for shoes? Well, if she can bowl that many games in one day, she's paying $2.50 for shoes, right? So it's the same cost every single time. And so we're going to just go ahead and take the $2.50 and add it to our grand total. So we have T equals $3.25 times G plus $2.50. This is what you are working on. Oh, there's Harry Potter. This is what you're working on 100% of the time today, guys. You're going to be looking at equations, or you're going to be looking at numbers in your story problem, breaking it apart, finding the dependent and the independent variable. Just a reminder, the dependent variable, usually it's going to be on the outside of the equal sign. It's going to be like your grand total, like your end result, and it depends on how numbers are interacting with the independent variable. An independent variable, it's a number that can stand all alone and by itself. And then you're going to take your equation and just break it apart. Make sure that you do have an equal sign, because that is what we're working on today. It's an equation, so it does have to have an equal sign. Your variable, your dependent variable is going to equal how information is interacting with your independent variable. Okay. Okay. Good luck. You guys are going to do awesome. Harry Potter, come here. Come here, little girl. Can you sit? And Harry Potter wants to wish you luck with her ball. Give. Are you ready? Sit. Harry Potter, sit. Oh, she's so cute, you guys, and brown. Ready? Okay. We're in rainy Alabama, and I hope you guys have an awesome day from your favorite math teacher and her really cute brown dog.